Stop listening to dumbass celebrities, because fame and expertise are not synonymous. So just because you're good at music, acting, entertainment, and sports doesn't mean that you're knowledgeable when it comes to history, politics, and spirituality. Most celebrities are under mind control, which is why they got the blonde hair, because it propagates dark psychology, which is mental and spiritual inversion, which is quithothic emotional possession, which is engineered by destructive forces, which creates crash out magic, where you lose self-control by way of emotional impulse, which is a form of demonic possession, mentally and spiritually. So with all that shit being said, don't let the status of a celebrity bypass critical thinking, because you gotta understand that the great majority of these celebrities is lining you up for a sacrifice by way of influence. They know that the dumb motherfuckers is gonna follow them. Because you gotta understand something. The celebrities that are basically under mind control are basically factories to create more NPCs. So you can't only separate from the celebrities, you also gotta separate from family and friends who are basically following that program. You gotta separate from every fucking body if you're trying to get to the next level. So stop listening to these.
He says he's my car. Amen. Amen. Oh Lord! Ho beccato proprio la sparata in lago proprio. Posso vedere, va? Yes, very enjoy. Very enjoy the air condition. Huh?
Why is SpaceX erecting a statue of Lucifer, yeah, the devil, Satan, the adversary, in their starbase? Because they always have to tell you. Elon has already told you guys who he really is, and we've talked about what SpaceX is really for, but we'll do it again in 1 minute. So they are actually putting a 50-foot statue of Prometheus inside of the starbase in Texas. But don't you know the history with the Greek gods, the Titans, and Prometheus? Well, Prometheus was said to steal the fire of the gods, you know, Zeus and all of them, and give it to mankind. In doing so, it gave them knowledge, technology. Just like Satan, tricking Adam and Eve to have the forbidden fruit for this knowledge. In the book of Enoch talks about the fallen angels coming down and giving all this technology to mankind. It gets crazier though, because Zeus, being angry about all this that Prometheus did, he chained him to a giant rock. Take a look at the Statue of Liberty, and we already know that one shackle is broken off the foot of Lucifer in the Statue of Liberty. And think about it, liberty. Liberty to do what? Liberty to be away from God, liberty to sin, to be evil. That's what it's all about. Much like the Babylon working in the Moonchild ritual, where they summon the spirit of Apollo into a living baby under a lunar eclipse, and that he would lead by cause of liberty and destroy the Black Brotherhood, and the demon specified that it was Christianity. This picture behind me shows through generations, of course, the light bear, the fire bear. Let's jump to Elon real quick, then we'll jump back to SpaceX. So he talks about how he's been around for 3,000 years, a vampire, and just trialing his identity through the centuries and millennia. He also said once that his birth date was 4000 BCE, making it almost identical right around the time that these angels fell. Now, I've been telling y'all for actual years, don't we know what SpaceX is really for? Right before we get into that, don't forget that in just a few days, our first shipment of conspiracy mail and copies of pages of really old books and a lot more stuff is being sent out to your physical mailboxes. Also, just by joining, even for a free membership, you get entered into the raffle/giveaway. The link to join is right in the pinned comment, or comment book club below and I'll respond. SpaceX was created to cover up the track of what's happening in the heavens and to block out the paths of the fallen angels and normal angels as well. That's why every single time we see this crazy stuff happening in the sky now, they always say it's SpaceX, even though things like the Norwegian spiral happened well before SpaceX. They want you to be oblivious that a heavenly war is actually coming very soon. I'm telling you, everything we know, all history, is a complete fabrication.
The thing about giants is, like, Native Americans have stories about red-headed giants. They talk about the same thing, about them having 6 fingers and 6 toes. They have these same myths. Like, how is it that people from the Middle East and people from North America have this same ancient story? And what is it about giants that they would try to keep from us?
The common answer is the existence of giants doesn't just affirm the biblical narrative, it affirms the myths and legends of every ancient culture across the globe, including the Bible. And so these atheist types don't want the biblical.
Another bombshell. 2020, just a few months ago, Christine Till, Canadian researcher, and this is what they found. They looked at the difference in IQ of children who had been bottle fed in fluoridated communities compared to children who were bottle fed in non-fluoridated communities in Canada. The only difference was all the kids were bottle fed. One had, the parents were using tap water, fluoridated tap water to make up the formula, and non-fluoridated tap water. You wouldn't, what kind of IQ drop would you expect? My God. 9 IQ points on the full scale IQ for each 1 milligram per liter increase in tap water. 9 IQ points. And then if you look at performance scale IQ, which is non-verbal, it's called performance scale, non-verbal. 19 IQ points. I mean, these numbers, most people would disbelieve that this study, and I'm sure they're trying now to destroy this study, but it's a bombshell. So now we've got evidence that in the womb, the brain is damaged, and now as an infant, it's damaged. And here's the recommendation from the authors. After adjusting for fetal exposure, they adjusted for fetal exposure. So now we're looking separate from fetal. We found that fluoride exposure during infancy predicts diminished nonverbal intelligence. In the absence of any benefit from fluoride consumption in the first 6 months, it is prudent to limit fluoride exposure by using non-fluoridated water or water with lower fluoride content as a formula. Needless to say, no agency in Canada, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, or any fluoridated country has attempted to get this warning to parents about bottle feeding.
The videos lately have been so weird, and they want people like us to post them, but I'm not going to post them, you see. Because, little honey, it's their hope that the dark arts is the new counter movement. Which is why videos like these are used. They do something called revealing the method.
The political elite, the financial elite, people that are at the very top of it, they're doing this stuff because they're revealing their belief. They're revealing the method.
And so we see this in the mocking of the Last Supper, the opening of the tunnel, Switzerland, concerts with pentagrams, dark music videos, anything with mental hysteria.
What is the point? To normalize people's exposure to it so people have seen it enough to where they become comfortable with it. And then from there, then they can start opening up the avenue a lot more towards getting people to actually believe it.
People who practice evil want you to be desensitized to evil, so you can therefore see evil as a hobby, not as something obscure. So they want evil to become a night at the club or a funny story. I'm literally itching my ear because it was because it was itching. Don't worry, it wasn't like a weird symbol. See, we're all scared to trust now. We're all scared, and that's okay. This is why the comedians have gotten so much darker in the past years, even the cool alternative ones like Tim Dillon. I have such a hard time remembering names, and then people get really mad at me in the comments. I'm like, you don't even know who that person is. Like, use your aura for something better, honey. So if the machine is so eager to serve you dark visions, then perhaps the machine understands that your eyes and ears are sort of portals to your soul. So protect them and don't subjugate them to random things. Let's heal our eyes with scenes from The Hobbit now. Bye, butts.
This Kenyan lawyer has sued Israel for crucifying Jesus. You see, this is Dola Indidis, and in 2007 he filed a lawsuit in the High Court of Nairobi claiming that the original trial of Jesus did not conform to the rule of law, even by the standards of that era. He argued, according to the Bible, that Jesus was questioned unfairly, never given a real chance to defend himself, and beaten and humiliated before he was even sentenced. And despite being a couple thousand years late, he says all of that that is legal ground to have a retrial and to have Jesus' death sentence overturned. And this is no joke, this is a serious lawsuit. He even explicitly names multiple figures from the original biblical account as defendants, as well as the Republic of Italy and the State of Israel. But after the Kenyan courts rejected his lawsuit, he took it a step further by filing a petition with the International Criminal Court of Justice in 2013, 2017, and then again in 2021. Bro will not rest until he has justice for Jesus. Now ultimately, the ICJ, they kind of smacked this whole thing down, saying they have no jurisdiction and that it's theoretically impossible for us to consider this case. So the question is, should bro just give up or keep?
This video right here prove it. If you don't believe that they are making these hybrid animals. Now this video right here you are looking at shows these rabbits with some type of wings on them. Now I want you to notice how the wings move, because these rabbits could possibly fly. Like, look at this. This footage right here is not supposed to get out. You're not supposed to be looking at it. But I'm going to show it to you. Like, look at this. They look very friendly. Like, would you want one of these as a pet? They could be making these animals to sell as pets. And maybe not for no sinister reason. But this video right here is very scary to me if they can do these type of things. Like, look at that. That's like a chicken rabbit.
This massive grid is the farm of the future. It's the world's first AI-powered robotic vertical farm. And here's the crazy part. These farms can grow crops in just 15 days using 95% less water, all fully automated. The company behind this is called AutoStore, and their farms are already producing greens that are sold in Whole Foods. Now, the reason these farms are so efficient is because of their innovative design. They're built like a giant Rubik's Cube on steroids. Each farm has dozens of wheeled robots that transport crops to different positions in the grid. And this ensures all plants get exactly the right amount of light, nutrients, and water that they need. Now here's the cool part. This system is fully hydroponic, so all the water is reused and no soil is required to grow. And get this, since the grid is so compact, these can be placed directly inside of distribution centers or stores. Eventually, you might see a future where Costco or Walmart uses these robotic vertical farms to literally grow their own produce inside the store. How crazy is that? But the real genius of these farms is that they can operate completely independent from the weather. And this means they can work in all conditions. That's the 4D chess move here, space farming. It sounds crazy, but in 10 years, we're gonna see robotic vertical farms like this.
This man just uploaded a video to Instagram circling the Federal Reserve building in New York, pointing out many mysterious things about it, which are pretty hard to fathom. His channel is called Old Good Thing, and he was impressed by the ironwork of this thing. All the windows have these giant iron grates. They don't want anyone getting in. It's made of solid sandstone and limestone from within the States. It's said to have the biggest gold deposits in the world. In the vault at the bottom of this thing is freaking gold, dude. I'm talking gold. Lots of it. But did you notice the address? Check out the top corner. The address, 33 Liberty Street. 33. There's 33s all over the building. Then it also has, he called them dog heads. The comments were saying, no, that's a dragon head. And I could only find like 2 pictures of it being built. I'm sure there's hundreds somewhere, but I couldn't find them very easily. And the question many people are wondering in the comments is why we don't build stuff like this anymore. And I know someone's going to say it's just because it costs too much. You know how much tourism countries in Europe get and how much money comes in because people want to see these giant castle-looking freaking Tartarian structures? They would pay for themselves, I'm sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this the head of the snake? What's in this building, man? I'm sure there's secret passageways. There's got to be. Comment your thoughts.
Walmart patented a shopping cart that reads your body temperature and heart rate while you shop. It's a real patent. Sensors in the handle that track your pulse, the temperature of your palms, your grip, and even how fast you're pushing. Now, the official reason comes off as harmless. They say it's to spot someone having a heart attack or a stroke in the aisle and send help. Sure, maybe, but I think there are a few questions that the people at the patent office aren't asking. Once a store can literally feel your body, the most valuable thing to do with that is to figure out when you're stressed or tired or in a hurry and adjust what you pay. There's already a name for that. It's called surveillance pricing, and it's real. A cart that knows your heart is racing is a gift to it. And to be fair, this patent is from 2018 and it might never be built. But nonetheless, the pitch to this product is your health. But the real value comes from your weakness. Companies like Walmart are the exact motivation behind the project I'm building called Paranoia. It scores every company you use based off of how much of your privacy and data they give away, the fine print you agree to but never read, and it's all backed up with the receipts to prove it in just one place. You can check it out through the link in my bio, but as always, think about it, let me know what you think, and follow.
The footage shows Rose remaining robotically still while a person behind him makes some adjustments.
Yep, here's everything happening in the US in under a minute. A contagious disease people fear rots your flesh and spreads in a single breath escaped a hospital, with the same people who lost it warning an entire nation. That was England this week. The man was found safe, but no one has ever said what he was carrying. Out west, people are being warned the heat is about to break records that have stood for a century, with fire warnings stacking across state after state, and forecasters say the peak has not even hit. The biggest social media company on earth was just ruled to have knowingly harmed children, with the court ordering Meta to pay $567 million after hiding what its own apps were doing to kids. And it turns out Meta owes regular people too, as a $67 million privacy settlement is still sitting open on MoneyPilot right now, the app that finds class action money that you're owed. Claim yours at moneypilot.com. And something with a skull of a goat, glowing eyes, and chainsaw for hands has just been built to come and find you. A rescue robot made to walk into fires, whose own makers published instructions on how to stop it. And that is America This Week. Add me so you never miss what everyone else scrolls past.
Bro, it's this one reason why I took the street lane.
Right.
Because I don't really have a lot of emotions.
Right.
I'm either cool or I'm not.
Right.
And 1 second I could be cool, and the next second I'm not.
Right.
So if you can keep that under control in the streets, everybody is hyper emotional.
Right.
You'll see guys crashing out over bullshit.
Right.
Like for me, I remember one time I went to a spelling bee.
Right.
And I'm the only black motherfucker in there.
Right.
Hella Asians, Indians, and they give me the word extraterrestrial.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And then that was cool. I get to about the 5th round.
Right.
Some of the words, it's like, damn, maybe I should have studied for this.
Right.
You feel me? And then I was like, you know what? I got a half a brick in my bag. I need to go get rid of this.
Right.
I'm very young with a car. And because my grades was always good, nobody ever suspected me of shit.
Right.
So I was able to get away with a lot of things.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, you know, if I take the street lane, I'm going to run circles around most people, because if you making emotional decisions, that means you're a pretty conceited person.
Right.
And, you know, a humble man survived the test of time. A conceited man rarely survives himself.
Hey, what's up, America? WNBA player Sophie Cunningham getting the shit beat out of her on the court by people that are racially motivated against her. Yeah, so apparently the WNBA, for some stupid reasons, devolving into some race war that's manufactured. You have Caitlin Clark that was being brutalized by people on the court, apparently because she was white, and refs looking the other way. Now you have Sophie Cunningham getting her face grabbed, somebody being kicked out because of them assaulting her, and then blaming white privilege on her actions. Let's take a look. So here's WNBA player Sophie Cunningham getting her face gripped and smashed down in an apparent purposeful attack by this player, Dejanay Carrington. She then blamed white privilege, of course, on getting kicked out. That's, of course, white privilege right there. You see all that white privilege we're looking at? Man, if that, holy shit, that's like, it's almost comical if it wasn't so tragic. Here they are coming up to prevent the layup and then grabbing your face. Clearly an attack because you don't like the person or because you're a racist piece of shit against white people. And then there you go. You see the back and forth between this shit. Now, of course, she was ejected from the game for this attack here. Probably because she thought nothing would ever happen. Then blamed white privilege on being kicked out of the game. What a fucking shit show. As you know, two men that played in NBA sports, one for the Kings and one for the New York Knicks, are now going out for the 2027 WNBA draft, saying they're transgender players, by the way. So this is turning into just a clown show. A race war on the court, and then we have some trans athletes coming in. Man, you can't script this shit. This is like fucking WWF. You know, Sophie Cunningham's cool. The race war thing is stupid as fuck, and it's just turning into Jerry Springer. Jesus Christ.
Senator John Hawley. I loved this guy. If I was you, I'd go check to see who funds him. It's a show, people. And you know what the show is? Distraction. Let me show you how the distraction works with Senator Hawley. Send out Fauci. And they send him out to make him look like a clown. If you ask me, Fauci's just the guy who gets whacked. He's the fall guy. I don't even think he exists anymore. I'm going to say that was an actor. Forget going, hey man, you guys owe us an apology. The snakes showed themselves. Hey, forget your freedom. Hey, you gotta get back. Your presidents said that. Your senators said that. Your corporations said that. Your baseball owners said that. Your basketball owners said that. Your NFL owners said that. They all said that. The medical industry said that. They all said that. They are all part of the system.
As you wake up this morning, I want you to know that Taylor Farms has issued another major recall that you should know about. This is no longer just about explosive diarrhea. Now, this new recall is due to salmonella concerns. Taylor Farms has recalled salsa, guacamole, and other prepared foods across the country. Taylor Farms is one of the biggest distributors in the entire country, feeding about 1/3 of America. But overnight, Taylor Farms, this massive company, recalled foods containing jalapenos, including salsa, guacamole, and other prepared foods from wholesale retailers like Walmart, Kroger's, Whole Foods, Target, Trader Joe's, and Hannaford across roughly 20 states. There is currently a salmonella outbreak in the United States of America. According to the CDC, it has sickened about 345 people. It has led to about 36 hospitalizations. Restaurants like Chipotle and Qdoba have pulled jalapenos from their menu. This comes after Taylor Farms had the separate recall due to explosive diarrhea, shredding lettuce. So here we are. Hope you have an amazing Monday morning.
Okay, so last Sunday, Kylie Robinson, this lady right here, she walked out to her back shed, found a thief stealing a whole bunch of shit. Instead of calling the hotline or instead of calling the police, who were probably going to be 3 hours late anyway, she grabbed a baseball bat, beat the shit out of this guy, threw a couple chains around his neck, and then marched his ungrateful ass to a nearby park where she retrieved a whole bunch of stolen goods that they were trying to sell. Then at that park, she beat the shit out of another couple operators that were lending assistance to this thief. And then guess what? The following day, she goes to report the incident to the police. The police end up arresting her, charging her with assault, kidnapping, the full works. And guess what? While she got charged with that, you know what the intruders and the thieves got? Nothing. Now, Kylie has been refused bail, and the guys that did the actual stealing, the guys that did the actual home invading, they've been let off scot-free. So let me get this straight. Governments around Australia have told us time and time again not to take matters into our own hands and that the police can handle it. And the Australian population have continuously seen the opposite. So when someone finally does take matters into their own hands, they get arrested. And this is exactly what happens when this postmodernism, Marxist, progressive world takes control of the government, our law enforcement, doesn't do jack shit to then prevent these type of crimes. Then they come down the hardest on the people defending themselves because the government and the police won't. It's like, welcome to Anthony Albanese's modern Australia. You end up defending your own home from thieves, give them a bit of their own medicine, and then get back the shit that they stole, you go to prison. But then on the other hand, if you run around with machetes, threatening mayors with knives, saying that you're going to stab them, and then invading homes of innocent people, you get let out on bail. Like I said, welcome to Anthony Albanese's modern Australia. This lady should be celebrated. She is a hero. And in my books, she is an Australian of the Year nominee. I stand with Kylie Robinson. What's your...
shit. Yeah, that's you. Maybe you just joking on me. I'm being honest.
I'm not sure what just happened there. Maybe that's one of his family members, right? Maybe that's his cousin, maybe his brother. Something's going on there, guys. He gave him tacos and he showed him some love. Shut up! You know what time is it. You know. This is what people are saying. If you ask me, this is how brothers show love to each other. They give them food and they kiss them on the head. People are saying that HW got to the streaming world, that is no different than the music industry, allegedly. Something is going on here, guys. As you can see, they're throwing up that cool hand sign as always. But let's not forget that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and they're just showing each other love. It's all good, guys. Reggie is good. All right, guys? He brought up some food, and he had to show his appreciation for bringing him food. Something is up. Let me know if you know what's up. I'm out.
My name is Doug Seavey. I live at 3392 64th Street, Palo, Iowa. I've called the mayor and suggested that I get put on some kind of a committee because I'm Palo's resident expert. I build data centers. I own data centers. I built the first private data center in the state of Iowa, and everything that Google is telling you is BS. I have a data center right now that's running in Hiawatha, and I have been there 14 years and have never used 1 gallon of water. What Google isn't telling you is they don't want to use the technology because it costs more. They're going to burn through the water, and when it's done, and they don't care. Then they'll put the money in. And so I can guarantee you, if you guys want to start a committee, I'll volunteer because I'm the expert. I build them. I'm working on one right now. I'm working on one in Milwaukee. I live here, and if I told you on the phone, I called you and talked to you, and I said, you should really let me help you. I never heard anything back. And I warned you. I said, my well goes dry. I'm coming after you because I know what's going on. And you can't do this. You guys have to say no water. They don't have to have it. I mean, to give you an idea, you people, how many people in here have heard of Unity Point Health? Okay? All right? I have 100% of their IT in my data center, and I've never used a gallon of water. And I'm the most efficient data center in the world. So this is all crap, and you guys don't want to listen. In fact, I called you and said, maybe we should talk. Never heard back from you. So if you guys want to put a committee together, you can call me. I'll tell you the truth, and I can explain everything to you how this works, because they're lying to you. Big time. There's absolutely no reason to use a gallon of water. And the same thing on the efficiency of the electricity. They're doing the cheapest way they can. All they want to do is get the gravy, and when it turns to shit, they're gone. Google is not our friend. So anybody wants to talk to me, I'll sit over here afterwards and I'll explain it to you. So if you would like, I would be more than happy to be on your committee to work on this because I am the expert. I build them. I know. Thanks.
Thank you, Doug. In 1925, archaeologists were clearing rubble from an ancient Egyptian temple when they accidentally uncovered a staircase descending 300 feet into the earth. After calling for backup and excavating the site, they found something that would leave every single skeptic speechless. Hidden beneath this ancient temple was a chamber, and painted on the ceiling of this chamber was the world's oldest star map. Okay, but here's the crazy part. The name of the man who built this chamber is so shocking that you will not believe it until you see all of the evidence first. This man had no royal background, but was adopted by an Egyptian queen. This man was elevated to become one of Egypt's most powerful rulers, holding 100 titles including architect, crown prince, and the chief of the prophets. But strangely, this man suddenly fell out of favour with the Egyptians, so much so that when he vanished they smashed up his statues and chiselled out his name from their history records. So, over to you, have you guessed his name yet? Well, he has too. The Egyptians call him Senimut, but the Bible calls him Moses. And I can promise you one thing, this is only the tip of the iceberg. If you want to see how deep this ancient cover-up really goes, click here or search this on YouTube.
He exposed how Hollywood really works in this one interview. Years ago, this man sat across from one of the biggest names on TV and speaks out how they make you look crazy when you get too powerful. Watch him say this and then listen to her very next question that they ask him.
When you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and they're trying to keep...
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
There it is, he said it out loud. That's what happens to people when they get too big. Suddenly they're crazy. He names Mariah, he names Martin Lawrence, and he's telling us it's not an accident. They pile on stress and let everyone call you unstable.
Listen up. So I collect old Bibles, and I've got this huge one right here, and it's from 1876. I've also got one from the 1700s, but it doesn't have as much information as this one. And I haven't really looked at this one that much because it's so old and I'm so afraid I'm going to break it. But today I decided to look through it. It's got some pretty interesting things in it. It goes through the genealogies, the dates. It even has a table showing how the earth was repeopled by the descendants of Noah. I really enjoyed looking at this chart though, because it goes through the genealogy and then how old everyone was when each person was born. I mean, this chart is very thorough. And this part was really interesting because it was the instances of prophecy compared with history. So it shows different times in history that was paired with prophecy that was fulfilled with it. There's also another chart of the history of Israel, and it states up here that the creation of the earth was year 4004 BC. And it also says that the birth of Christ was in 5 BC. And it says probably December the 25th because they did not know. It also goes through the chronological order of Jesus' life, which is really cool because it talks about the Feast of Trumpets and all the feasts that he went through. Also, it talks about the remarkable mountains and hills. And it talks about the descriptions that are in the Bible that matches these mountains and hills, proving that Israel is where it's supposed to be at. I thought this was really cool too. It gives the missionary travels and events in the life of Paul. This Bible has so many illustrations. Now I want to go back to the chronological order of Jesus' life. It says that the crucifixion was April the 3rd, 33 AD, and his resurrection was on April the 5th of 33 AD. Anyways, I thought this was interesting, and if any of y'all want the pictures of the charts that I have, I will gladly email them to you if you'll email me at plzstayawake@gmail.
This video is going viral right now after a man was spotted in the crowd at a Lakers game and has seemingly been spotted at many of them. And the internet was going wild saying, who the heck is this freaking guy? Apparently, the teams, despite him not owning any teams, by the way, the players answer to him. Is he a ghost owner of the NBA? I'm about to tell you about this guy. It's shocking. And you see him here wearing sometimes $500,000 suits or alligator hats. Is that a carbon fiber freaking hat? Well, it turns out this guy is Jimmy Goldstein, who is a major NBA fan, goes to all their games, a ton of games a year, spends hundreds of thousands a year on going to their games. For the longest time, no one knew where he made his money. How's this big fancy rich guy? Well, apparently there is a bit of controversy actually that he would do things with mobile. So he acquired Southern California mobile home parks and aggressively pushing to end rent control. And so there's criticisms about using legal pressure against local governments trying to protect affordable housing for seniors. Maybe not unlawfully acquiring money, but definitely, he wasn't building organic farms out there and helping feed the world, right? But on the plus side, he is donating his roughly $50 million house to the Museum of Art, Los Angeles County Museum of Art. He has no heirs, so he has no kids to pass this thing on to, so he's giving it to it's going to be a museum. You can go check it out one day. But I literally just found out about this guy today. If you know more crazy info about it, let me know in the comments below and follow for more.
This is obviously about to sound fake right now, but China just turned on a machine that creates 1900 times Earth's gravity underground. Did you even know that that existed? So these researchers in China just finished building something that shouldn't be possible. 50 feet underground, they installed a brand new $285 million machine that's called Chief 1900. This is a hypergravity centrifuge that generates forces 1900 times stronger than Earth's gravity, and for context, your washing machine does too. It works like a giant spinning arm with a radius of about 20 feet. They load multi-ton scale models into it and they spin them at speed so intense that the machine had to be buried underground just to stop the vibrations from destroying everything around it. They had to build a custom vacuum cooling system because this thing generates so much heat that it would melt its own components. Now this is the crazy part and why it actually matters, because they can put a 10-foot model of a 1,000-foot dam on this machine and spin it, and whenever they spin it, they're able to watch decades of structural damage happen in just hours. Earthquakes, landslides, nuclear waste storage, they're compressing centuries of geological stress into days, and scientists are calling it a machine that compresses space and time. Okay.
She was diving when she heard screams. An experienced diver was diving in Florida when she hears something terrifying she had never heard before. The sounds of underwater screams for help are heard coming from all around her, but she doesn't find anything, so she resurfaces, then submerges once again, and finds nothing. To prove there was no sounds added, she shows the raw GoPro footage.
How I recorded it. So you can hear.
Since she was diving for a sunk ship, many people believe this is the souls of those who drowned on the boat.
Story time. Ancient Magnetism and Psychic Forces, written by a man named L.H. Anderson in 1895. Look him up real quick. Tell me if you can find any information about L.H. Anderson, the Freemason who wrote The Key to Power in 1895. In Matthew 17:21, we went over the missing verse about healing all disease and sickness. When I was reading this book, I noticed it mentioned, howbeit this kind goeth out not but by prayer and fasting. What is this book written about? Magnetism gives us information about the existence and action of the life of dreams and the power of creation. It is also the best means of breaking the seal which closes the mysteries of antiquity, rich and fancy, whilst it discloses the similarity and depth of man's capacity and shows us an accordance of phenomenon which formerly in magic was attributed to enchantment and to deceit. It's kind of funny. The dude that built Coral Castle said the entire world is built out of little tiny magnets. Yeah. All of Parker's electrical equipment is magnets wrapped in wires. Yeah. Julian's machine runs off of magnetrons. Yeah. The atoms within everything are bonded by magnetic bonds. What does it say about magnetism? Magnetism possesses properties which are not only practically useful as regards health and the relations of life, but also in respect to the highest interest of mankind. In human nature lies the germs of power which are occasionally met with in this earthly form, but which so far have never been perfectly developed except in the man of Jesus Christ. The Freemason I can find no history about is talking about Jesus being the perfect example of enlightenment through magnetic principles. We're getting into ancient esoteric Jewish shit. Magnetism gives us information about the existence and action of the life of dreams and the power of creation. By animal magnetism, hold on, what is animal magnetism? It is called animal magnetism because the animal part of a man is the medium, the conducting body of his penetrating magnetism, which distinguishes our animal senses and and the higher faculties of man. By these means, we discover in animal magnetism a new medical science, or the art of healing and prevention of disease, not through a substance, but by a power, a movement which, like sound in the air, light in the ether, appears to be endowed with a surpassing mobility. Was that talking about healing all sickness and disease with thought? That's what that sounds like that's talking about. Here's the chapter I'm in now. Secrets of the Egyptian Magi.
There are no employees, right? So, wait for this. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna get an iced tea or something. Let's see. Alright. Well, Perrier. That's all I want. Now, I'm not gonna see any employees. I'm not seeing it. All this is what I see. I see a checkout here, right? Okay. So I scan it. Okay. Now, I'm going to flip you around just so you see what I see. You see that? So I'm going to say next. Would I like to leave a tip? I have not seen a single employee. I have scanned my own Perrier, and now the robot wants me to tip.
Listen up. Let's talk about August 12th. So there will be a total solar eclipse on August the 12th. And this is turning into be one of the most mind-blowing celestial events to ever happen. And I'm going to tell you why. This is not just a normal eclipse, because it's aligning with so many other celestial events that it's almost mathematically impossible. The path of totality for this solar eclipse is going to be in Iceland and in Spain. And we also know how the elite love these kind of events. So I doubt they're going to let this opportunity to do something pass them by. So total solar eclipses happen every 18 months somewhere on the Earth. And for the moon shadow to hit one local spot happens only every 400 years. This is the first total solar eclipse since 1909 for Spain. Now when you combine all the celestial events that are about to take place, this would only happen every 140,000 years probably. Over Europe, that is. The final day of the Lion's Gate portal in spiritual and astrological traditions, the Lion's Gate window closes every year on August the 12th. Having a total solar eclipse which requires a new moon perfectly aligning with the sun land precisely on the final day of this Leo window is incredibly rare. And as the sky plunges into daytime darkness, the sun's blinding light will vanish, instantly revealing Regulus, the radiant heart of the Lion Star, shining brightly directly next to the blacked out sun. At the same time, the peak of the Perseid meteor shower is the ultimate cosmic bonus. August the 12th is the absolute peak night of the Perseids, one of the most brilliant meteor showers of the year. Because a solar eclipse can only happen during a new moon, the night sky will be 100% dark, completely free of moonlight. Once twilight fades after the eclipse, people will get flawless, pitch black skies to watch up to 100 shooting stars per hour. Rare twilight sunset eclipse in Spain, totality will hit exceptionally low on the western horizon right before sunset. Instead of happening high in the midday sky, the blacked out sun and its glowing white corona will melt directly into the horizon. We are living through a literal blip in cosmic history. We will never see an alignment like this again in our lifetime.
This is clear as day a humiliation ritual, bruh. I know it's people back at home like, bruh, what the fuck is you doing? So this what it take to become a big streamer these days, huh? And then they feed the youth this shit. I guarantee this man probably had over 20K people watching. And then after the damn jump, you're gonna have people going to go search the video up that's a fan of this man and be like him. He claimed he's not that, but he's doing that. That man is a diva. Demon.
can't believe she said this on live Saturday night television.
And I've got to tell you, yeah, they win Emmys, they win Tonys, and they're some of the sickest perverts I've ever met.
You could just say, oh, it's a bit of comedy. We all know what Aubrey's like, we all know the things that she comes out with. But then again, you look at the language used in this clip that I'm about to show you. It makes you think otherwise.
When she started, she was just a happy-go-lucky kid. Then I got a hold of her and I worked her and I drilled her until there was nothing left but just an overworked, over-drilled little hunk of over. Don't get your shorts in a knot. Joey, I'm upset. No, I mean your shorts are really in a knot.
Now I'm not sure if you know who was in that show. First name Bob. And for restriction reasons, the comment section will help you with this. We've seen the things that he's come out with and the things that he said about two twins that he worked with. I'm sure you know who I mean on that as well. As always, the truth is put right in front of our face, and still everyone chooses not to believe it for the purpose of a little bit of dopamine.
This guy went underwater just to get the video of this giant snake. Just to get a video with this giant snake. Now obviously there's somebody else there taking that video, but don't go underwater to swim with a giant snake. Giant snakes are real. We believe you. In fact, they've been seen all over the world, even in the lakes of Sheboygan. So you really don't need to go down and swim with the giant snake. By the way, this guy's still wearing his clothes. Yeah, he's wearing his clothes when he's swimming with the giant snake. You know, there's other ways to prove things exist besides risking your life underwater with a giant reptile, especially a reptile that could squeeze you like a tube of toothpaste, or maybe try to swallow you whole like me at Dunkin' Donuts. You don't need that. You don't want that. That's not something you especially would like in your life, baby cakes. And you know, he's not the only one. People all over the world are swimming with giant snakes to prove they exist. What the heck is going on? Okay, I saw that, thought I'd share it with you, cause, you know. Till next time, shabba-doo-booshkis,
Something is going on at this wrestling event, guys. Look at that guy up there with his eyes. Something is up, bro. Now, I don't know who he is. Maybe he's playing around. But people are saying that he glitched out. Look at this guy, bro. I ain't gonna front, bro. I'm scared, bro. I'm not sure who that guy was, guys. Maybe he was joking around. People are saying that they seen him at a wrestling event. People are also saying that he was glitched out, like he's not a real person, an NPC, but I don't believe that's a real person. He was playing around. Something is going on out here, guys, and I don't know who that guy is. Multiple people are saying expect more of that, right? People are saying that the people that you see at these events are probably not even real. Allegedly, those are real people enjoying the show. People are also saying that he's something that we don't think exists, but maybe it does. Shh, shut up! Something is up over there, bro. And I don't know if that guy was playing around, but his eyes, something's up. It looked like he was rebooting or he was downloading or his battery died. That's just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. That's somebody that was playing around because they seen that the camera was on them. There's nothing to worry about. Not sure what was going on with that dude. Let me know if you know what was going on with that.
So scientists in the US used AI to create viruses unknown to nature. And who would have guessed that the Gates Foundation is the ones behind it who funded this first ever creation of 16 new synthetic viruses using AI? Yeah, I mean, like, what could go wrong? I'm just glad the people behind these companies, you know, are good intentioned humans with a great moral compass and not manipulative at all. So we're in good hands. Yeah. Well, it was nice knowing.
Dogs versus Islam. We've talked about this. It is a strange topic, how many Muslims and Muslim groups are hating on our canine friends. If you guys don't know where the source of this comes from, it's important to repeat. There's a hadith, which is basically an Islamic extension on the Islamic writing from the Quran that says that dogs are impure animals, that they're dirty. And so that ends up having real world ramifications where a lot of Muslims act very aggressively towards dogs, unfortunately. So this is Mumdani's, New York City. This American is literally being chased out of his own park by Muslims. I don't have the full story, but you can hear them calling him a racist and are aggressively yelling at his dog. We all know that they hate dogs.
This is New York. You got to f him up, okay? Dead ass. What's happening right now? Get us? Get away with your fucking dog, man. Not to make it a big scene, no more. That ass. Ain't about none. Ain't about none. I'm moving away already, okay? That ass. You're gonna walk towards him. Something about to happen. That ass. Not with the kids there. Not with the kids there.
They're literally chasing him.
You think it's gonna happen in the UK? Any big changes, or is it gonna keep going down this road?
Did you see the intel from the ex-MI6 agent?
No, what happened?
It broke that there's around 80,000 jihadi trained soldiers, allegedly, within the United Kingdom, waiting for the go word, and the Albanians have been supplying firearms to them over the last 5 to 10 years. They're storing the firearms and the ammo in the mosques, so people can't go in and search even during wartime. It's like a rule.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, given the amount of men and migrants that have flooded to the UK in the last 15 years, I'm extremely concerned about the safety of everyone in the United Kingdom, because we gave up our firearms in 1997. So let's say, for example, the general British public have no firearms, no way to protect themselves. And then we have 80,000 soldiers already embedded within the United Kingdom, and they come out with firearms. What do you think is going to happen?
What? Mysterious illness? This is the video that'll change your life. For years now, I've had worsening chronic brain fog, as well as really lightheaded and just really zoned out. Not just me, but my wife as well. And although certain things do make it worse, like the Schumann frequency or the air quality outside, if you or your family relate, then this right here is the video that you've been looking for. But first, let me preface this entire thing by saying, I'm not making any medical claims, any diagnosis, nothing like that. I'm just telling you about me and my life and what helped my life. I'll explain this in a minute, but a few years ago, we started getting all foggy-headed, zoned out, all sorts of stuff, feeling really fatigued, all for no reason. Looking back, now I found out it happened when we went from the Note 20 Ultra to the S22 Ultra. But the S22 Ultra, unlike the Note 20 Ultra, actually did use where Note 20 claimed they did, but they didn't have an antenna for it. Follow me, let's get deeper. But while annoying, it was manageable. And then we moved and we upgraded our Wi-Fi and we got these new phones, the 25 Ultra. Y'all see that? What? What? But we didn't think about this yet, because we had moved in and we noticed all of a sudden we were way more foggy headed than before. And this is on 4G. It's on 4G. Went up to 300. The Wi-Fi you just saw, the 6G Wi-Fi, went up to 1,000. So we made a change and all of a sudden we've been feeling great, and I've slept 5 days in a row with not one single problem. Let me show you how to do that. Right before we get into that, don't forget that in just a few days, our first shipment of conspiracy mail and copies of pages of really old books and a lot more stuff is being sent out to your physical mailboxes. Also, just by joining, even for a free membership, you get entered into the raffle/giveaway. The link to join is right in the pinned comment, or comment book club below and I'll respond. First, only connect to Wi-Fi when you actually need Wi-Fi, so it's not pulling it in your room where you sleep. There's a mighty big difference between like 100 megabytes per second and a gigabyte per second. So first, open your phone settings, and then you're going to go to the connections. It's very similar, should be on the iPhone. Then you're going to go to mobile networks right here. Allow something service. No, say no, no way, and it will automatically stay on 4. Look, unless you're uploading high quality stream, this is 4. 100 megabytes per second is plenty. For the most part, it'll even run your shows on your phone in 4K. And ever since I stopped using this and turned it from 5 to 4, I've had no problems and I have all the data I need. I couldn't turn this all the way off because of security cams, much like maybe you, but you can log into your IP from your router and you can turn it down from 6 or 5 to 2.4. Way better for it. way better in general. This will make a major difference in you and your family's.
Another near fatal incident over a flock camera. And why do I say that? Because an individual driving down a highway in Wisconsin was boxed in by police. Guns were drawn. And take a look at what happened next.
Brookfield police with guns drawn pull over a car they say was flagged by flock cameras in connection to a homicide out of Milwaukee. Well, turns out this was all some sort of mishap with the flock camera systems. In fact, Brookfield police say they called Milwaukee police and MPD said they no longer needed the car or the people inside, so officers let them go.
So you just witnessed and heard the story for yourself. These individuals were boxed in by police on a highway, ordered out of the vehicle, hands in the air, guns drawn, pointed right at them, all over a flock camera mistake. So I guess my question to you is, what are your thoughts on these flock camera mishaps that possibly could have someone either injured or possibly a loss of life? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
There's something going on in Australia they really don't want you talking about. It's not how broke everyone is and how bad the crime's getting. It's not immigration and the shady lobby groups controlling the government and pushing for more immigration. It's not billions in NDIS fraud taken from the taxpayer. And it's not gender ideology propaganda in primary schools. It's more serious than all of that. Think North Korea type shit. Like banning political parties, censoring journalists, and 15 years jail for being right-wing and training together in a park. If you've been paying attention, you'll know I'm not kidding. In September, the presiding government, the Labor Party, will put its new anti-freedom hate crime laws to the test in the High Court of Australia. These laws were rushed through after the Bondi shooting, but they don't even address terrorism. They just allow the government to ban speech, ban political parties, and send people to jail for a long time, even if they haven't done anything technically criminal. It's all for speech and political control. There's never been anything like this in the history of Australia. It's the most serious thing that's ever happened to our country. But the good news is there seems to be an organic public response in favour of free speech and free electoral process. I'm seeing these rallies on August 30th being organised right now on socials, and I want everyone watching this to talk about that and amplify the message. Because the way law works is for the protection of the public. So what the government's going to say to the High Court judges is they need to be able to ban political parties and shut down free speech and free electoral process to protect us, for our protection. So in summary, the government has drafted up these hardcore laws which shut down free expression and your right to vote freely. They're saying they're doing it to protect you. They're going to lie to the High Court in September, and it's essential that Aussies call out that lie. So I'm filming this to tell you guys about the rally's being organised on August 30th. If you want more people to see this, know about this, if you want more people to see this video, you'll have to share it yourself, like re-upload it yourself, because they've banned me from everything. So re-upload this video if you care to. Tell your mates, tell the boys, because August 30, whoever's organising that, I'm behind them 100%. This is really important.
Maybe this is their way of letting us, the public, know that they're here. The UFO sightings happening all over the world. Maybe this is the way they do it. That they announce themselves to the citizens of the planet. People always say, if UFOs, extraterrestrials are real, why don't they just land on the White House lawn? Land in Central Park? Maybe land during a soccer match in Europe? Well, maybe because that's not their way. Could it be that they announce themselves to the people of the planet, like here on Earth, by being in the skies over the population for years and years and years, so that it can't be ignored? And like I said before, there are UFO sightings all the time. In fact, in the past 5 years or so, they seem to happen a few times a week. So doesn't it make sense that this could be how they announce themselves to everybody, at least to the citizens of the planet? Not the governments, not the powers to be, but to the people? Just by flying around, being overhead, till we can't possibly ignore them? I don't know. I was just thinking about this today and thought I'd share it with all of you. Till next time, shabadoo booshkies, shabadoo.
So the president doesn't know much.
No, and he doesn't want to know much. When Harry Truman became president, when Roosevelt died, he did not know we had the atomic bomb. Only a few people in Congress ever knew we had the U-2 plane, even though we've been flying it since 1956. And we never called Area 51 an air base. It was a facility. You didn't use your real name. Now, my group used code names. My code name was Thunder. Well, the pilots never used their real names. The pilots all had pseudo names that they actually used on all their paperwork, everything.
And you acting like a baby, right? Listen, everybody in the world act like babies because they kind of like trick the world, right? Right now, they kind of like design food to kind of be like breast milk. I was like, oh, mama. They took like fat and sweet. The only combination you can find these two things is in the breast milk. But they took a scientist, and the scientist designed food in the lab to get to you and make you addicted like it came from your mama. That's why you so fat. Because all the food go together like that and make you think it's breast milk. So you sucking the food like breast milk.
They gotta call me fat.
No, I'm not saying it's why you in the gym though. You looking good. No, my bad. I ain't gonna start off like that. You looking good in the gym. No, keep it real. Listen, everybody right now, Yellow, you looking. I've been seeing you doing your thing in the gym. You know, your ones and twos. You know what I'm saying? Looking good. Biceps and triceps. I've been seeing that. No, keep it real, right? No, I've been looking at that, right? You been doing your thing, right? Listen, and I applaud that. But I'm saying the reason why you got like that in the first place, because the food was designed for you to eat too much. That's what I'm mama. A lot of people don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're tricking us with the food.
Right, so why you eat so much?
It's something inside of you that make you want to eat so much.
What you mean something inside you make you want to eat so much? A demon?
Parasite.
Oh, shit. I thought parasite shit was fake.
Something. What make you hungry?
You know what they said?
But it's in your brain, too. It's your brain let off things, but the parasites do things inside your body to let off
right.
They make your brain and make you, you know, your blood sugar low, make you want sweets,
right?
Like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I don't know. But is it real, right? Or is this genetically designed for our body, right? Like, you know, like everybody know, like right now, everybody the COVID scare, like who was the COVID for? Okay, cool. It was genetically designed to hit black and white people, right? That's kind of crazy. A lot of Hispanics, a lot of Chinese people, they didn't come down with COVID. So I'm saying, is it just designed for certain people in the food, or is like for everybody? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do everybody got like their own poison?
It's probably designed for certain people, especially blacks.
You smart. You smart.
We targeted first all the time.
You're right. You're right. You know how I know that? And I learned that when I looked. I said, damn, they actually took a scientist, right? A scientist. Why a scientist designing food? A scientist, bro, put together the right amount of food. That's why when you go to the grocery store right now, you see a whole bunch of different kinds of the same thing. Because they all got different ingredients in it.
Experiment.
Right.
They've been told you that on Good Burger.
What they say on Good Burger?
Injected all that shit into the it said toxic. And they injected to make the burgers big.
That's crazy.
Mondo burger.
That's crazy.
This footage out of China shows the efficient commercial driver's licensing process through virtual stress tests. The candidate seen in the footage is taking her final exam and is expected to be starting her new truck driving job next week. China has done a great job of fully streamlining and automating the licensure process for many professions that require special training.
These teens that were exploring an abandoned building, they ended up stumbling upon a cult's area where they do their rituals and dump the bodies.
Really?
Bro. The footage is so crazy.
Bro, I have not seen this.
Really?
At all.
Oh my God, dude, this thing is insane. So this happened in Michigan in 2023. One day, these 7 boys decided to go and explore this abandoned detention facility. The boys end up stumbling upon this lady's body that was under a tarp. They see that it's this 22-year-old woman. Immediately, all the boys panic and they cut out. They called 911. Pretty much on themselves, how scared they were. And they tell them, we just went to this abandoned place. We found a body and we think there's some other stuff going on here. They pull up to the place and you can even see the cops are scared. as they're going, they eventually find the room that had the body. They see her, and the weird thing when they found her was there was all of these like scribbles and markings that were around her body. There was also a strange fluid that was all over her body as well. There was also hella candles around her whole body.
Whoa.
So immediately the police were like, bro, this was a ritual.
Yeah.
So the boys give them the footage, they tell them what they saw, they tell them everything. They're looking from CCTV footage, and they eventually find the girl walking, and she was like going to the store, and at night they see her get into this black car, and they go and try to look who owns the black car, and they see it's this guy named Stephen Bales. And around that time, it was almost like God, one of Stephen's friends or somebody that he was close to calls the police and pretty much says, I am terrified for my life, and it has to do with this guy Stephen.
Really?
Yes. So that was like the police's first lead that leads into all of this other crazy.
Is it cheaper to drive an EV versus gas-powered vehicles in today's market? And why do I say that? Because Costco has jumped on board with the charging stations outside of their locations. And they're calling it Electrify America. Basically, you can go shopping inside of Costco and plug your car in so it charges. Have a look at this video for yourself.
I'm at Costco,
Listen.
and I just plugged up my Rivian to the Electrified America. It's gonna take an hour and 10 minutes to get to 100% from 27%. But let's just see how long I'm in Costco.
27%, take a look at that right there.
See how long this goes. I'm done with my Costco shopping, and there's about 10 minutes left, but it's $62.89 right now. I'm about to unplug it. $64.59 for an hour and 1 minute, and I'm at 94%.
And as you can see from here, this is where she started from prior to going into Costco to start her shopping. 27%, and it claimed it had over an hour and a half to go for a full charge. She came back, and it was at 94%, giving her a total of 332 miles to drive on. And her grand total for 94% charged, $64.59. So based on the math, it would cost her $93 to go from 0 to 100% charged. The range of this specific vehicle on a full charge is about 300 to 400 miles. So basically, this is kind of expensive for an electric vehicle. Not even at a full charge, and it's costing you close to $65. So think about that. Approximately $93 to $95 to get a full charge. That is very expensive. So once again, $93 to get a full charge to basically go about the same thing as a gas-driven vehicle. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear.
Many Americans have been convinced that if you are anti-Netanyahu, or if you are opposed to the present policies of the current Israeli government, you are anti-Semitic. In fact, an Israeli friend of mine, a close Israeli friend of mine who served in the IDF and everything, told me that they're actually taught to do that at school. That any criticism of Israel, they're supposed to label as anti-Semitic, so that people back off and people generally.
So this is a spacewalk of the astronauts sitting over Israel, floating in space. Now, pay very close attention to the size of the Nile River and whatever that little spot is. Now let's compare it to what Israel looks like on Google Earth. You see how small that landmass is in comparison to what we are being shown on the spacewalk? Is Israel like a quarter of the size of the planet? Maybe it is. This just doesn't even make sense, guys. I don't understand how you can watch a spacewalk and see something like that and be like, oh, you know, that's normal. That's a picture of the globe from like 2012 or something. You see the size of the US? This is from 2014, I believe. So the United States doubled in size, or I guess reduced its size to half a couple years later. This is just ridiculous. Oh, but these are real photographs, right? These are real photographs. Even though you can actually zoom in and see where they photoshopped the same clouds over and over and over again. So, are we in a simulation where the clouds just keep rendering? So this is a picture of the Earth from the moon, from like the 1960s or something. And then we have this picture of something taking a picture way past the moon and then looking at Earth. How is the Earth like 10 times the size that it was, when you're further away in that picture up there, but you're closer to the Earth in that picture? Guys, just use common sense. These are not real photographs. Perspective. You know nothing about perspective. I made this video entirely for entertainment purposes only.